Alright, I'm going to show you today how to mount your high lift on the spare tire carrier. The way I prefer to do it is to separate the jack handle, and jack base from the actual jack column. Mount the jack column like that. You got a little tab down there with a stud, and then you added a bolt to the top of the square tubing there. This will also keep people from trying to steal it because they won't quite recognize what you got back there, and it'd be an incomplete theft anyways. Alright, give me a few minutes. Alright, good morning. What I got going on today is I'm going to put this high lift jack on the spare tire carrier here on the back of my Jeep. The reason I've got it in parts is that what I'm going to do is put the actual jack column itself on the back of the tire carrier. I'm going to remove the lifting handle, or the jacking handle. I'm going to zip tie it to the column, and I'm going to put the jack in a tool bag in the back of the truck, and I'm going to slide that behind the seat. The reason I like to do this is you don't have as much sitting out in the elements, and it also gives your local neighborhood tweakers less to steal. They won't really see the value in just the column. They might recognize the value in all the other stuff, but they'd need to break into the Jeep to get that. Plus it allows you to carry this in a little bit better position. It gives you some more room back here so you don't have to hit the tail light. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so here's the importance of mock-up. You can see that this door hinge and where the high lift would sit isn't going to work if you put a tab off the back of the carrier. You need to put a tab off the front of the carrier. Up here on the top, I want to keep the use of that square tube up in case I ever wanted to add a cooler rack up there. And so what I'll do is I'll actually have this back, and I'll just do I'll just weld in a bolt, a couple of nuts, and I'll stand it off, because you can see there's plenty of room there for that to hang off the back, or well, for that to be like this, versus down here you don't have that option. Give me a few minutes, I'll do a little bit of cutting and grinding welding, and I'll show you where we're at. Alright, here's the little tab I ended up with. I'm going to go ahead and clean up some of that flux core splatter. What I like to do when I'm working on some thicker material and I don't want to get the 120 out is I just go ahead and use some MAP gas or propane, depending on what's around, to heat up the parts before I start putting the weld to it. And that gives you a little bit better penetration and depth, and it also makes the welding go a little bit smoother. Like I said, I'll clean this up, we'll throw a touch of paint on it, and we'll call it. And see how I did that up there, not too complicated. I've got some little rubber isolators back there to keep it from making too much noise bouncing against the metal. Like I said, I'll go ahead and throw some paint on it, and we'll say it's done. Alright, don't forget to use your flat cutters to trim your zip ties here. That way you don't get scratched when you're out on the trail. This is a little present to yourself. It's also a good time to remind you that the wrenches you use to install this stuff be useful to keep them in the back of the truck. I know everyone's got more than one set of these Pittsburgh tools, so I'm going to chuck them in there right now just so that when I need to use this I have it. Don't forget to put your jack handle on top of the jacking column, and here's why you always hold on to your old heater hoses. Gives you a nice weatherproof softener when you got metal to metal contact. It'll keep it from making too much noise. Alright, just wanted to show you guys the end product here.